Texas Motor Speedway, known as one of the fastest tracks in the U.S. for auto racing today, a unique stage for the 2023 Purina Pro Plan Incredible Dog Challenge Central Regional Championships. Trace Worthington alongside Shalene Cockrell, glad to have you with us. Let's get right to the action with large dog agility. 2 rounds, and we'll begin with Adriana Nottestad and Cyrilla, a 4-year-old female border collie.
All of our competitors today in the large dog agility are border collies, which are part of the herding breed. They tend to work well at a distance, and they are fast, agile, and very smart, which is why they excel at this competition.
Very athletic dog, pushing the limits through the weave poles. Cyrilla goes. Nice job so far.
Very quick. Of course, at this level of competition, you're going to see bars going down mostly because they are pushing the speed, and the dogs flatten out as they go over the jump when they're going too fast.
So we have our judge, and they will assess faults, which will add time to the competitor in the end. So coming through with a raw time of 35.13, but adding 15 seconds, which are faults again, 50.13.
You're going to see this as going over this triple jump, very flat. Usually they arch and want to make an apex over that bar, but when they're going too fast and turning mid-air, they flatten out, and it's likely to drop a bar when you do that.
Next up, Salty is the dog. Love that name. Martine Kopka is the handler. 3-year-old male, another border collie. This, their first Purina Pro Plan Incredible Dog Challenge competition.
Definitely have to be at the highest level of competition in order to compete here and try and get through the course clean. You know, you hear those beeps, that's not what the handler wants out on the course. Every aspect matters to cut off fractions of time.
And they'll get 2 chances, 2 runs per competitor, and it's the best of 2 that will count in this large dog agility competition.
So right here, lots of mistakes, lots of beeps you're hearing going off, but they have that chance to correct going at it a second time. Lots of verbal excitement from the dog out there on the course.
I mean, they are out there having fun, regardless of knocking down a couple bars. Adding that 15 seconds, 56.45.
Lot of great ground speed with this dog in big strides, and they come into the weave super fast, and it's really easy to miss that first pole because they have to slow down and get into their stutter step to get through those weaves correctly.
Next up, we have Desiree Snellman and her dog Peak, the 4.5-year-old male border collie. Another first-time duo here at the IDC, the Incredible Dog Challenge. Getting a taste of how this competition works on course, run number 1.
Now remember, this is a timed event, but it is also our only judged event. So when those mistakes are made out there, it's those false seconds added onto the length of the run.
Through the weave poles. And this first run, Shalene, getting a feel, right? I mean, the dogs now, there's people in the audience, and the nerves maybe work those out before run number 2.
Lots of bars down because these dogs are fast. And again, they're making tight turns coming out of a lot of those jumps, which are tough because they'll make the turn mid-air and knock a bar, or being too fast and flattening out, as we've seen.
So far, it's the top time with only 10 seconds added on, 45.10. That was a fast, raw time, Shalene, of 35.10.
Now, it's all about the handler and their positioning and how they're directing the dog. Here, the handler could have found a better placement on the course to get the dog not to knock that bar.
Final competitors in round number 1. This is Sydney Ryan and her dog Ego, a 7-year-old male border collie. Loves agility, feeds off the atmosphere, according to Sydney.
Up, jump, tunnel.
Because, of course, we talk about everything having to come together here. The running contacts on and off of the dog walk, the A-frame, the teeter-totter, efficient footwork at the weaves, the ground speed, the sharp turns. All of it has to come together in order to come out on top.
Out, jump, come, tunnel. Check, switch, out, jump. Here. Ego, oh, good boy. Come, tunnel. Ego, jump.
Ego has a strong social media presence with over 127,000 followers on Instagram right now, trying to get a spot to the national championship final if they get on top of the podium today. They'll have a time of 46.79, so they'll be looking at run 2 to improve upon that.
Going into that triple jump, flattening out a little bit too much, drops the front legs too soon, hits the bar, and she's going to hope to clean that up next go-round.
Yep, that's for sure. And Peak, Ego, Cyril at the top three right now, 45.10 is the best time. The door is left wide open for round number 2 of large dog agility. It goes down right after the break. Here are the results from round number 1. Peak leading the way with the 45.10, 46.79 by Ego, and Cirilla with a 50. So there were many faults in that first round. So whatever dog and handler can clean things up, door is wide open to get on the podium. So we look at Adriana Nadestad again, and her dog Cirilla, the 4-year-old female border collie. Their first round time was 50.13. Shalene, like I said, the door is definitely wide open. We're going to see a clean run, I'm sure, in run 2.
Well, we sure hope so, because that's definitely usually the key to getting on top of the podium here, no doubt. Now, getting through the course, the dogs obviously know how to execute each and every obstacle, but they don't know where to go on their own. It takes verbal commands, hand signals, and body positioning in order to do that. Adriana says that verbal commands and body positioning are her go-to ways to direct Cirilla through the course.
A very athletic dog, as you can see. Great communication as they make their way through. They do have one fault on the board right now with 10 seconds added on. So we'll see their total. 46.89, currently in 3rd.
On this bar, she just takes off way too early, and she's already coming down as she approaches the bar. So her front leg hits it, and the bar drops, and those are the mistakes you just can't have if you want to get on top.
Absolutely. Martine Kopka, the full-time dog trainer, and her 3-year-old male border collie, Salty. Their first round time was 56.45. Here they go in run number 2. A reminder, it is the best of the 2 runs, which counts towards your final score.
You can see our judge out there on the field. This is Kama Ruschenberg. She's a competitor and a longtime agility judge. She created the layout of the course. Every event has a different layout.
And the dogs have to take a lot of time with the handlers to learn that course.
They don't get a lot of time out there, but it's really the handler learning how to direct correctly. They're having to make adjustments for the specific course, like crossing in the front or doing a rear cross and how they direct their dogs.
Only 5 faults on that one, so a total of 54.39 puts them into 4th.
Good improvement. Quick again, but just those jumps. And then many have tight turns coming out of the jump, which makes it tough if they try and make that turn mid-air.
Exactly. So here is Peak. Desiree Snellman is the handler. 4.5-year-old male, another border collie. Their first run came in with a 45.10. They were leading after run number 1. In fact, they still lead.
You know, it's interesting because Desiree says that Peak's most difficult obstacle to train was the teeter, which is usually the most difficult for small dogs because it moves and it takes weight to get that to drop and hit the ground.
You can hear tunnel and left and right, and those dogs, they understand everything that the handler's saying. It's crazy.
It's crazy. She uses all 3, verbal, hand, and body positioning, she says, out on that field. Dogs work with the motion of the handler getting across the finish line there.
Well, that's a good run and improving. Only 5 faults on that, 38.16. They will remain in the lead and pad it just by a little bit.
Dog walk A-frame teeter, they have to touch that yellow contact zone as they enter and exit the obstacle. He was just super fast. Unfortunately, he missed that contact zone, but did everything else really nicely in this second attempt.
Sydney Ryan and Ego currently sitting in 2nd place. We had a chance to sit and talk with her to find out how the bond between people and dogs are an important part of making a successful agility team.
My mom actually did agility, so I've been going to trials since I was a very small child and started out competing probably around like 7 or 8 years old. And Ego's my first official dog that I got for the purpose of agility. It's a great way for us both to not only get exercise, but I feel like as a whole, there can be a whole nother aspect to dog ownership that, of course it's relaxing to go for the walk in the park, but when you step out onto the agility field and you're kind of like, hey, we're here to do our best and put it all on the line, it just adds another element of, I guess, of our relationship and adds a little bit of extra something that maybe you wouldn't get otherwise. Ego, ego, tight, 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 come, run, let's go. We do a lot of conditioning at home, we're hiking a lot. I'm always very cognizant of his weight. He even has some kind of fitness stuff that we do. He's had a couple injuries over the years, and so making sure that he's coming back from those appropriately. I think diet is a huge part of that, you know, whether they're too heavy or don't have enough weight on them or enough muscle, all of it kind of plays into how successful they can be. I mean, a win would be cool. Nice podium shot, I think would do pretty well there, but either way, we've been taking lots of video and the whole event is cool and new for both of us, so I think everyone's enjoying it kind of regardless of what happens.
And she can get on top of that podium, Shalene, because there have been faults with all of the competitors so far, so a clean run will get you a spot to the National Championship Finals.
Tight, tight, come, run, go jump.
Nice and fast. This is a quick line going into the weaves. Executed perfectly.
Come, get your slam, wait, break, go, out jump, come, tunnel, check, come, switch, out jump,
Clean so far,
here,
Trace. We're about halfway through.
Ego, jump.
Now, it doesn't look super fast, but the patience, you can tell, Shalene, just precision right now with Ego.
Good boy, go.
And Sydney Ryan trying to get a spot to the National Championship Finals. It looks like a clean run, nothing from the judges. It is 34-6-0. They win it here in Fort Worth.
Clean and fast, that's the way to get it done. They worked great out there today. Really, the verbal and the body cues were spot on. Sydney and Ego just pushing it while maintaining control of all of the actions out there on the course. So looked slower, but was fast and accurate.
A brilliant run by Ego and Sydney Ryan. They punch a ticket to St. Louis for the National Championship Finals. And there was Sean Smith.
Yeah, thanks, Trace. And as you know, we're here with a first-time competitor at the Purina Pro Plan Incredible Dog Challenge, and you get the win. Now, you were the only clean run in the large dogs. How did you get that done?
You know, we just went out there and I was like, we know how to do all the pieces and I'm just gonna go out and do what we know what to do.
Now, it was a difficult course. A lot of dogs, as mentioned, had mistakes. You guys were clean. I mean, talk about the difficulty of this course.
Yeah, there were quite a few pieces where when I was walking it, I noticed there were some tight turns, lots of potential off courses. And I mean, we've been a team for quite a while now. And so I knew kind of when and where I needed to call him and what pieces we may struggle with. So I was able to kind of, you know, guide him along the right path with that.
Rookie no more. We have a champion. Back to you guys.
Let's get right to the action with small dog agility on the Purina Arena. And kicking things off in the first run of two, it is Jen Conrad and her dog Moxie, a 4-year-old female Papillon. We'll see what they can do here to set the tone and pace. Shalene, it's all about getting clean through this course. Here we go.
We have 3 size categories: large dog, small dog, and medium dog. Moxie is our smallest of the small dogs. The height of the bars and the height of the tire are set at 8 inches. And that's off of the height of where the dog stands at the top of the shoulder blades to make the competition even.
Jen says Moxie may be small, but she runs with a whole lot of heart and passion and a little bit more attitude, and that even helps.
Quick little dog, hitting everything right going through this course. No faults.
Coming through the finish. Wow, that's the way to set things off. 38:11 is the time. No faults.
You know, Moxie has nice, tight turns, really good speed, and she's a clean jumper. You know, this is a great combination for any agility dog of any size, and Papillons have really become popular in this sport.
Next to go, it is Mary Doherty and her dog Marty.
Marty, a little bit bigger dog, as you can see here, but still qualifies for the small dog category. The height of the jumps and the height of the tire have been raised to 12 inches.
Go!
Coming through the weave poles, critical part of this course, and nailing that part. Clean so far.
Staying on that teeter is one of the toughest things for Marty. We saw a bar go down, and when those mistakes are made, then time penalties are assessed onto the length of the run.
So in this case, you see the +5. Those turn into seconds, added on to the end. So a raw time of 38.22, 43 seconds 22.
Well, attempting a fast, sharp turn here on that triple jump is really pretty difficult to master successfully. Marty makes an honest attempt, but doesn't quite make it, and drops the bar.
So Butter, the Border Collie Papillon mix, and handler Courtney Moore take to the field. 4-year-old female, here we go, ripping right away, super fast.
Super quick, border collie speed, all packed in a little Papillon body.
Wow. Amazing ground speed right here, entering the weave poles. Bam! Nice job.
Yeah, Courtney says that she's not the fastest in order to keep up with the speed that Butter has, so she uses a lot of verbal commands out on the field instead of being up with her physically. A little bit of mistake made out there, but again, they get a second attempt at the course, and they'll be able to correct on that, hopefully. Quick little dog.
Quick dog coming through with a raw time. You see on the left-hand side, 35.72, and you add the 5 seconds, 40 seconds, 72.
The mistake is here on this sequence of a spread jump with a sharp turn to the tunnel. It's really a difficult combination for the dogs to navigate. And she's so fast, she just tried to turn in the air instead of on the ground.
Here's Stacy Bowles and her dog Cosmos. 3-year-old male miniature schnauzer. Says his speed and his vocal love for the sport. Let's listen in for a second.
Stacy says that she uses not only verbal commands but also body positioning, because for small dogs, they really read the feet first, and they naturally just follow the handler's motion.
Round number 1, the first of 2. 38.11 is the time to beat. It's the best of 2 that will count in the end for all of the competitors. Cosmos with a fault right there, so adding on 5 seconds. Coming through the finish, Shalene. Not bad. Fast raw time. 43.59 is their total.
Well, in addition to the fault seconds when that other bar went down, here on the course you could see some hesitation from Cosmo, and that's because Stacy's positioning could have been better to direct Cosmo to the next obstacle. Instead, there's a pause, looking back, where do I go? And of course, every fraction of a second counts.
Megan Escherick and Spice. Now this is a unique breed. I don't even know if I can pronounce that one.
But the Petite Basset Griffon Vendine, I think is how you say it.
Sounds good to me.
Here's the short, PBGV.
There you go.
And a PBGV is not a common breed.
Well, they're scent hounds, so they hunt. They're a lot like a beagle, little higher energy maybe. They're definitely not. Basset just means low to the ground in French. They're really not like a very laid-back basset hound kind of dog. I would describe as a more moderate energy level, very intelligent, they're athletic. I like that they're small enough that you can pick them up and carry them, but big enough that they're still pretty sturdy. So they're, to me, a nice size of dog. And I like their personalities a lot.
So it's awesome to see that really any dog can do this. You don't have to be a specific breed, and you get to see some unique ones out here sometimes.
Absolutely.
Just like Spice, which is awesome.
Really cool looking dog. Spice is actually a therapy dog who enjoys visiting schools and nursing homes. I would love to see this dog at a school, you know, when I was a kid in school, come by, cruise by. Great job though, 56.54. Having a great time with the audience. 71.54 is their time. So Moxie with a 38.11 after the first round sits in the #1 position. Butter in second, Marty in third. Moxie with that clean run in the #1 spot, 38.11, so that's the time to beat. Butter with a 40.72 in second. A lot of room for improvement here. If some of these dogs and handlers can clean things up, top of the podium, still obtainable for everyone. Moxie and Jen Conrad will go now. Again, they sit in the lead with 38.11. And so with the objective here, Shalene, is to improve their time and pad it a little bit, assuming some of the other competitors are going to clean things up with their runs.
They had a clean run the first go round. She's just wanting another clean run with maybe some additional speed if that's possible. Coming up here, she says this is the most difficult obstacle out here today for Moxie, because the teeter actually that she trains on is lighter than the teeter that's here today. So she needed to manage that descent, but she did it perfectly. And remember, they do have to touch that yellow contact zone coming off those obstacles before they come off.
Exactly, another run with no mistakes so far. Can they get through it? Yes, they do.
Nice.
Another clean run, 38.34. So their first round time will still hold as their best.
Well, Jen holds her position until Moxie commits to the jump. This is a great example of perfect timing out there on the course. Moxie executes a perfect slice over the jump and then wraps around the end.
So here's Mary Doherty again and her dog Marty, the All-American. Their first run, 43.22. They had a fast raw time. Taking it a little bit slower this time around, Shalene, making those adjustments. Perhaps maybe that patience will pay off sometimes, right? Because the faster they go, the easier it is to make those mistakes.
A lot of the lines out here in this course are very fast, with several jumps and or jumps going into tight turns. So if they're going too fast, a lot of times they won't arc over the jump, and it makes it easy for the bar to get knocked down if the dog's going over it flat. So they had a mistake in the first run, but no mistake so far.
Shooting for the top of the podium to get that spot to the National Championship Finals, and right now it looks good for Marty and Mary. 37.67 is their time.
Mary does an excellent job navigating the entire course and maintaining speed with tight turns, and you can see perfect form and execution on the weave poles and hitting all of those contact zones where they need to.
So a new time to beat in 37.67. We'll see if Courtney Moore and Butter can step it up. Their first run, they were sitting in second place with a 40.72.
You know, it's interesting, a lot of the competitors today, you know, in asking them what type of handling adjustments are you needing to make on this course? And most of them said, I have to raise my voice and be louder because the venue's just so big. I mean, we're in the middle of the Motor Speedway, and you know, not only are there people on hand, but just kind of the distance and the music. You can hear her yelling out those commands, needing to be louder. Doing great so far.
Four-year-old female Border Collie and Papillon mix, trying to get a better time than 37.67, which is the lead time right now. Do they get on top? Yes, they do, with a 35.48. Outstanding.
Oh, super fast, and that's where ground speed matters. Getting between the obstacles and the dog walk is really key, and you can appreciate Butter's speed getting up and over. Her running contacts are flawless, much like most of her run today. Great job with an experienced pair.
Butter putting everyone on notice, and one competitor remains. And that of Stacy Bowles and Cosmos. They had a 43.59 run number one. Again, the best of two is what counts in the end. So 35.48 or better is what they're looking at to punch a ticket to the National Championship Finals in St. Louis at Purina Farms. All the winners in all the disciplines get that invite. Very prestigious invite.
And at this level of competition, really everything has to align out here. The ground speed, the communication, the distance. So there we have another bar go down, but you know, she's still really quick on this run, so hopefully it's enough to put them up at least on the podium.
Stacy, a full-time agility trainer and coach. Loves the combo of dog training, human training in her profession. And with those 5 seconds added on, it's not going to cut it to get on top of the podium. In fact, just off it with a 41.34. That's what they'll settle with.
Well, she was going for the speed. Stacy asked Cosmos to put the pedal to the metal on this straightaway here, but once he accelerated, Cosmos flattened out and dropped the bar, and that cost them.
So it is Courtney Moore and Butter getting things done, sealing the deal here in Fort Worth. They're with Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Trace. And as you know, everything is better with butter.
America's favorite condiment.
I love watching this dog run, the smallest dog, yet the fastest dog. Talk about this course today. There were some difficulties.
It was a very challenging course, but very doable and fast, and that's what sometimes brings in the most challenge is when you pick up the speed. So we had the Probably the hardest for us would be the discrimination here at the tunnel and the dog walk at the very end. You know, making sure that you have, you know, your dog and not going straight up over the dog walk. And then there were some other little turns where you had to send if you couldn't, you know, get out there, which I may not be the fastest handler, but we do have some, you know, distance skills, and we work with a lot of verbal skills as well. So she'll move off away from me, sometimes too far, but today she did fantastic.
She was incredible. Congratulations on the big win.
As we get set for round 2 of medium dog agility. Results after round 1. It is Beetlejuice with the #1 time of 34.93, Riki Tiki Tavi, and then Deuce in third. There's Elizabeth Blanchard and Deuce right there. And they've seen the evolution of agility over the years and takes on the challenge of this highly competitive agility field.
So I've been competing in agility for 33 years now, and Deuce is my 7th agility dog. Deuce is very athletic, very quick, but he's got a lot of eye, which helps me at times and hurts me at times. He's very quick, he's very athletic, but he does have a lot of eye, handler focus, and it's sometimes difficult to get him out there. So we're doing a lot of work on that, and he is getting better and better. He tends to watch me as a handler more than watching the obstacles coming. So if I'm not up there, he's going to struggle to go. It's a lot of pressure on me. Oh, over the 33 years, the sport has changed so much. Obstacles have changed, they've come and gone. Our dogs just seem to keep getting faster. We train them more, we're just such better trainers and giving the dogs information compared to what we used to be. But the courses are getting more difficult, and all the competition's getting younger and faster.
Well, they're having a lot of fun out there, Shalene, and they had a first round time of 55.94. This time in the second run, 49.29. So currently sitting in third place here in the second run. And now we go with Catherine Angel and Dallas are next to go in medium dog agility. The 5-year-old male Shetland sheepdog. They're from Houston, Texas, off and running very quickly.
And you hear about that bond out there and how these guys work together. It is necessary in agility because while the dogs know how to execute each and every obstacle, they do not know the line or the pattern of the course. And that is totally up to the communication between the dog and their handler, either with verbal commands, hand signs, or body positioning. So they're looking to actually find out, where do I go? And they're so fast, it's unbelievable to realize that they're taking commands.
Yeah, and the handler just keeping up with the dogs these days as they come through with a time. 0 faults, by the way, 37.19, and it puts them into second place for now.
Very nice. Yeah, these dogs are quick. It's definitely a workout for the handlers. The dog walk, always a tricky one, especially with those running contacts, because they do have to touch that yellow area. And then when you're fast, there's always the possibility of knocking a bar.
All right, Bridget Thomas and Beetlejuice, the 2.5-year-old male All-American. Gets set to dice it up here on the agility course. Good start.
Of course, we've already seen the small dogs here today. All of the bar heights and the height of the tire have been raised to 16 inches for all of our dogs competing here in medium agility.
34.93 is the score they had in the first round, and that's still the top score at the moment. Great job through there. 0 faults on this run as well. 34.28, so they remain in first place.
Clean is what we like to see, and those fractions of a second are shaved off right here. You saw that angle going into a tight turn. All of that matters and takes off time, but they can't jump too quick, because if they jump off before that hits, it's a big fault.
Megan Doherty and Blue get set for their second run in medium dog agility. They had a first run time of 61.31. Clearly a lot of room to upgrade here and make a better, more clean run here in the second round. Looks good so far.
So we've got some focus by Mary on obviously not wanting to get any mistakes, because that's what added all those fault seconds onto their first run time. So she needs to go fast, but she needs to do it in a way that hopefully they can do it clean. as well. That's always the key at this level of competition.
Well, a solid and clean run by Blue and Mary. 0 faults, 34.35, just outside of the top spot and time.
An amazing improvement out here. They kept the speed but made no mistakes. Proper timing on directional, verbal, and body cues are essential, and that's what they corrected on and got through with 0 faults.
Final competitors in medium dog agility, Ricky Tiki Tabby and Stephanie Tice, and the time to beat right now is Beetlejuice at 34.28. Blue right now in second, so they're guaranteed a podium position, but the question is, will they earn a spot to the national championship finals, or will it be Stephanie Tice?
We shall see. They have a different style out here. Stephanie says that Ricky Tiki Tabby loves to drive ahead of her. So he's super fast out on the course, so she's directing more with verbal commands, and you can see her hand commands backing that up.
A brilliant run right now coming through the finish. Wow, superb by Ricky Tiki Tabby and Stephanie Tice. They will win it 32.96.
Great speed and athleticism, and even with that extra height going over the jumps, getting a fast time today. Staying focused, executing things right, hitting all the obstacles, and clearing the apex of the A-frame and hitting all the contacts. Nicely done.
Nicely done indeed. Ricky Tiki Tabby and Stephanie Tice heading to St. Louis for the national championship finals. They're on the field with Sean.
What a fantastic event. The drama coming down to the final run. You didn't have a clean one first time around. What kind of pressure were you feeling that final run where you had to lay it down?
I just knew that we had one chance and one chance only, and we just had to go out there. I had to support him the best I could, make up for the mistakes we made in the first round, and just go for it. There's really nothing left to lose at that point, but just put it all out on the line, make a few adjustments, and just go.
How do you keep up with a dog this fast?
A lot of training on my side, too. We're both athletes. We both train, watch our nutrition, and yeah, it's a lot of also verbal skills. I got to make sure I can send him, and he knows what his job is, and I got to make sure I'm very crystal clear with my verbal cues and telling him what he has to do.
If you like dogs too, subscribe to NBC Sports YouTube channel for more.